Hello and welcome back to all your witches, wizards, muggers out there. I know it's been so long since I have filmed. Forgive me for that. For the last few weeks I had my toe broken, my little pinky toe, I fractured it, and then I lost my voice. I had laryngitis, so I couldn't film at all, which sucked because I really wanted to do this video. Today we are going to be discussing the life and lives of Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. So we're going to discuss which one is better, the book version or the film version, and I have got some interesting points. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future Harry Potter videos, and also leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think of this and also what character you would like next for me to discuss. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and talk about movie Dumbledore. This is a bit of a controversial character in the movie because of the two actors he was played by. When the first two films came out, I was a person who would watch the films before reading the books, sadly. But I really, in my mind, I portrayed Richard Harris as Professor Dumbledore. The way he was a bit of a grandfatherly figure towards Harry, how he was calm, he was collected. The only time he yelled really was in the first film with the troll situation. That's the only part where he would raise his voice. The rest of the time he was cool, he was calm, just as the books suggest he was. Then Prisoner of Azkaban came out when Richard Harris unfortunately passed away, and they hired Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. I didn't like it. First of all, the dress robes changed, his beard colours changed. He was just a totally different person, and I'm the one that likes the characters when they're first cast to stay until the end. Like, I get he passed away and we needed a Dumbledore, but that's just how I am. I would have loved it if Richard Harris stayed on for the next 10 years and just continued on, because he was the perfect Dumbledore. I really think they would have benefited for going in with other auditions for Dumbledore and not Michael Gambon, because he raises his voice too much. "Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" he said calmly. That was one of the many points where I would just, the only time I really liked Michael Gambon was in the sixth film. Ironically, is when he died. Spoiler alert. But I liked the scene where he and Harry were talking about, we're in the astronomy tower, and he was saying, I still picture you as a small baby between the cupboard under the stairs. And while that got to me, because I'm like, if you knew he was in the cupboard under the stairs, why did you send someone in to check on him and to look after him properly? That just still made me very, very upset. But that's the scene I liked about him. Then he's just, it's so weird seeing the two Dumbledores, and I didn't like that. So the other bit I liked about Michael Gambon was really the fighting scenes, where he would fight Voldemort, where he would do that fire spell with the Euphoria, and just, that was cool. But I didn't like him as a professor. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. However, let's go into the books. When we read the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, let's start with this one, which I got it right here. I don't know when my original copies are, so I got these for Christmas, 10, 15 years ago. So it's number 12 on the Boy Who Lived chapter, and this is how he is described. A man appeared suddenly. A man appeared on the corner the cat had been watching, appeared so suddenly and silently you thought he'd just popped out of the ground. The cat's tail twitched and its eyes narrowed. Nothing like this man has ever been seen on Privet Drive. He was tall, thin, and very old, judging by the silver of his hair and beard, which were both long enough to tuck into his belt. He was wearing long robes, a purple cloak which swept the ground, and sparkling half-moon spectacles, and his nose was very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. This man's name was Albus Dumbledore. So, when I think of that, I thought of him as Merlin. You know, Merlin from The Sword and the Stone. Sorry about that. My camera just completely cut off. Anyway, so when you heard that description, I thought of Merlin from The Sword and the Stone Disney movie. You know, the long hair, the white long hair, the blue beard, the white beard, the blue robes, except for purple and red stars on it. That's how I pictured Dumbledore. And when Richard Harris came along, he was the perfect vision of Professor Dumbledore. I loved Richard Harris so much. So then you go on the books and you don't really hear much of Dumbledore until the fourth one, when you finally discover he was in a lot of the Death Eater trials, and he helped put all of those, or most of them, in Axevan. The only thing I don't get is if he knew Sirius Black was the secret keeper, why didn't he get a trial for Sirius, and why didn't Sirius get to raise Harry that way? Why couldn't he, guarantee Sirius's innocence? That's the one thing I don't understand, because he performed the Filius charm, which protected the Godric's Hollow with James and Lily, and Sirius said, no, let's use Peter as a secret keeper instead of me. So why couldn't Professor Dumbledore say, no, Sirius was innocent? No, he had the power back then. He wasn't being dragged through the mud like in the Order of the Phoenix, which we're going to get up to in a second. So why didn't he guarantee Sirius's innocence? That's one little thing. Like, actually, there's a lot of little things. And also in Goblet of Fire was the Triwizard Tournament. Harry was not 17. He was 14, and he still had to participate when he wasn't even of age. Why couldn't Dumbledore get him out of it? I know it's the blood tie thing. You could lose your magic from it, all that sort of stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, Dumbledore is technically Harry's magical guardian because he didn't have one. So, it's like, why couldn't Dumbledore get Harry out of these situations? Unless he was a manipulator. And that's why some of these fan fictions we sometimes read are of Dumbledore being the bad guy, because he is a very powerful manipulator. And I think that dates back to in his younger years when he was with Gilbert Grindelwald, which we will get up to later on. So then we head on to Order of the Phoenix. Now, I'm currently rereading it. I've got how many pages? Let's see. I've got that much to go. And a lot of that information was really interesting to read. If you can hear taps going off, it's probably just my mum having a shower, so ignore that. Anyway, so you hear Dumbledore and how he managed to get together the Order of the Phoenix, which is what helped them win the first Wizard World War. And he was getting dragged through the mud. He wasn't the great and wonderful wizard anymore, at least according to the Wizarding World. And Fudge. Sorry, he's as bad as Umbridge, so I hate hearing his name. Ugh. So, and then there's the whole not looking into Harry's eyes because he's fearing that Voldemort is possessing him. And again, why didn't he just confront Harry, tell him? Because Harry is so confused at this point, and he's just like going, what the hell is these things happening to me? Dumbledore could have given him peace of mind, but he didn't until Sirius died. And that, to me, really made me upset, because I know what it's like to be kept in the dark, and I couldn't imagine anyone else do that. So then we go on to the Half-Blood Prince, and this is where things get interesting. We know from the first or second chapter that Harry knows that his hand is black, and we start to figure out why that happened. And then as we get into the book, we discover that he was the one to discover Tom Riddle. He was the one who sort of realised, oh God, maybe he's a Slytherin, and everything like that. And he's trying to teach Harry about, how Tom Riddle went down that path, which I think was a bit of a waste of time considering, but maybe it was for a good lesson, I don't know. And then he goes away from the school, he goes on the Horcrux hunting, and so on and so forth. And then we go to the cave, and how he starts to babble about Ariana and all that, how he wants Harry to end his suffering when he drinks the potion. And you start to go, what happened in his childhood to cause him, such a man, to be swallowed by grief, and he has to make every person like a chessboard, pieces of a chessboard, and Harry is like the pawn in the game. I'm like, how does that man get to that stage? And then you get on to the seventh one, where Rita Skeeter writes The Life and Lives of Albus Dumbledore, and it has that expose about him and Grindelwald knowing each other, and intimately apparently, and Dumbledore wanting to be the destroyer of Muggleborns, aka Mudbloods. Now, that to me, I could never picture Dumbledore doing that. I know it's ironic, but just because of what you read in the first film and how he's portrayed in the first book, and how he's portrayed in the first film, you can never picture someone like that, like a grandfatherly figure, wanting to destroy probably 90% of the Hogwarts population. So I'm just like thinking, well, how is this possible that a man like Albus can be wanting to destroy Mudbloods and Muggleborns and be like the man that Voldemort is? And it's just like, well, wouldn't you rather wanting to save Tom Riddle instead of allowing him to go on that path if you were the one who made that mistakes first? And that to me is a bit of a hypocrite, because you would think he'd save Tom Riddle from that darkness and not leave it up to Harry. And maybe Harry could have had his parents still and everything like that. And so when we get up to, the crimes of Grindelwald, I'm going to be very interested to see how that fight happened, because there's a specific scene in the trailer where Dumbledore's like, I can't destroy Grindelwald, only you can, to Newt. And you're like, well, hang on. You were known as the defeater of Grindelwald. You got Order of Merlin first class. You were head of Wizardgamon. You were nearly offered the Minister of Magic position. And yet Newt had to be the one to destroy him. Newt Scamander. Why didn't he get the fame of having been the destroyer of Grindelwald? So there's all these questions and theories about Professor Dumbledore that we still have yet unanswered. And also with Aberforth, and how he was saying to Harry, Dumbledore's not the man you thought he was. So there's all these weird hints and everything like that. And we didn't even know he was gay until J.K. Rowling's basically said, yeah, he's gay. Like, you don't really see it. And when you hear that, I'm just like, oh, okay. Not that I have anything against gays or I'm not homophobic or everything, because most of my friends I'm getting off topic. Anyway, most of my friends are gay, so I don't have any issues with gay. But when you hear like a man you respected and everything like that, and you never knew because he hit it so well, it comes as a surprise, it comes as a shock. like Severus Snape, how we didn't even know he was on the good side until he died and he showed Harry all his memories. I really want to do a character analysis on Snape. I reckon he'll be a good one. Anyway, that comes to the conclusion. I really like the book version more than I like the film version, only because you get so much detail about Dumbledore than you ever have on the film version. And the film version, you have the two actors to gamble with, and it's up to you to figure out which one you like. But personally, I like the book version, and I find him really soothing when he speaks calm. I'm liking that scene in the Deathly Hallows. Goblet of Fire. Did you put your name with the Goblet of Fire? Anyway, I'm going to leave this part here. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe before you leave, and also leave a comment down below again letting me know what you want in the next character analysis. Anyway, this is dedicated to Sean. This is dedicated to Sean, who suggested to do Dumbledore. So I hope you're happy with these points. And yeah, I'm going to get going. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.